Happy Independence Day weekend, everybody. I hope you had a great day yesterday celebrating Independence Day. I've got my red, white, and blue on, epic colors today, but USA colors as well, especially for this weekend. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. And I want to read you a verse of scripture real quick to kind of set up what we're going to do today, all right? In Proverbs chapter 17 and verse number 22, the Bible says this. It says, laughter is good for your health, but gloom and doom leave you bone tired. How many of you know that's absolutely true? What we're going to do today is we're going to do something a little bit different. And I know over the last few months with our COVID crisis and everything that's going on in our nation and our world, we've been doing a lot of things that are different over the last couple of months. And we just kind of felt like today is a day that we could kind of take advantage of an opportunity, just kind of unplug from all of the heaviness that we've kind of been through over the last few months. All the doom and the gloom that you hear in news media and on social media sometimes. And today, we're going to get to laugh. We're going to have a good time. And what we're going to do today is we're going to hear a very special message from one of my favorite comedians. His name is Michael Jr. And before you disconnect and before you unplug, I know maybe some of you are saying, well, I didn't tune into church today to hear a comedian. And we get that. Matter of fact, Trent, our lead pastor, actually picked this message out. And a lot of times, Trent tries to tell some jokes on Sunday mornings, and they aren't that funny, and we laugh more at Trent than we do with Trent. So he thought it'd be a great idea for us just to kind of disconnect a little bit from the heaviness of everything that's going on in our world and just have a great time and just laugh a little bit today. And here's what you're going to find about Michael Jr. He has a phenomenal gift and an amazing way of communicating God's truth from Scripture in a way that is so funny, in a way that's so practical, in a way that is so real. So we're all going to learn something today. And I would encourage you, wherever you're at, whoever you're with, lean in today a little bit, lighten up a little bit, let's learn and let's laugh. So let's hear from Michael Jr. for just a few minutes.
All right, thanks so much for having me. I love Craig. That dude is awesome. His handshake is a little aggressive. He doesn't even know it either. He's smiling the whole time while he's hurting you. Craig is dope. So when I got to town, I went by his house, right? He was all asleep, and then I took a picture of him. I think we got the picture. Yeah, it is. I took a picture of him. Stuff. That was pretty cool. Yeah. He loves snuggles. That's what he loves. Anyway, so I actually, due to Craig, I've been working out a lot because I'm inspired by his work ethic and just in general. So I started working out. I was at the gym the other month. Right? I was gonna do some cardio, right? But they moved it upstairs. I ain't going up there, man, please. You get an elevator or something, man. I ain't going up there. So I'm about to do some cardio, right? And I get recognized by this lady, right? She's like, she's one of them. I was like, hey, how you doing? She's like, Michael Jr., you don't understand. You're my favorite comedian. Every time I see you, I laugh my butt off. I was like, keep laughing. Keep laughing. And people ask me questions, Michael Jr., what makes you laugh? And what makes me laugh really is awkwardness. Did you feel it just now? Like it's the best. Like I'll look for awkwardness. Like I'll do things like I'll get on the elevator, right? When there's like 6 or 7 people on there and I'll let the door close behind me and I won't turn around. And then I'll say something random like, it's Tuesday, but it's really Friday, and everyone gets off on the next floor. And then I just giggle my way to the top. But then I go to the stairwell, and them same people from the elevator, when they see me, I'm like, it's Thursday. Then they head back down. So my comedy, I always sit back and I pay close attention to people. One of the things that changed for me in comedy is when a comedian normally gets on stage, he wants to get laughs from people. But I felt like instead of trying to get laughs from people, I should give people an opportunity to laugh. But when I give, not just laughter, when I give anything, I try to give on purpose, meaning I try to never give out of compulsion or emotion. And when I talk about giving, I'm not talking about the tithe. That's not giving, that's called not stealing. I ain't talking about that. So when I talk about giving, I'm talking about never really giving out of compulsion. I try to hear God's voice when I give. I try to be obedient. And I'm really good at receiving too. Just want to throw that out there. Like I try to have a balance. It's very, very important that you have a balance. So this is what this looks like for me. I was at a Starbucks, right? And the car in front of me paid for my Starbucks coffee. That was awesome. So you know what I did? I did a little prayer. I ain't hear anything. Pulled off with some free Starbucks. For real. 2 weeks later, I'm at the same Starbucks. Car in front of me pays for my coffee. I was like, wow, that is awesome. Dude in the drive-thru was like, you don't understand. You're the 23rd car in a row. I was like, wow, for real? Pulled off with some free Starbucks. And here's the thing. I know some of you guys are thinking I'm being insensitive. I like to beg to differ. Is it possible that the only person who really gave was the person in the front? Is it also possible that everyone else just had a hard time receiving? I didn't have a hard time receiving. I pulled off with some free Starbucks. And anytime you truly give, there's always a sacrifice. In fact, I would probably argue that the sacrifice is the majority of the gift, especially with regards to John 3:16. So when you give, it's really about the sacrifice. So if you're going to buy a coffee, now suddenly you have this money that you wouldn't have before, and you buy someone else a coffee, there's really no sacrifice. But even if there is, obedience is better than sacrifice. Obedience. So I find comedy all over the place. Another thing I do for awkwardness is, you ever go on a job interview and partway through you realize, I don't want to work here. At that point, you should have fun. You just flip the whole interview. They're like, so tell me a little bit about yourself. I'm like, you know what? Why don't you go first? In fact, answer this question. Where do you see me in 5 years? No, I don't like that answer. They always ask you those weird questions too. Like, you ever hear this question at an interview? They say, so tell me about a time you had a disagreement with a coworker and tell me about how you worked it out. I was like, okay, yeah. So I had a colleague, right? He took all the credit for some work I did. Like, I did all the work. He did nothing, took all the credit. So here's what I did. I just walked over to his cubicle and, fast forward, here I am. You know? That's exactly what happened. That's what's on the police report. That's what happened. So whenever I do comedy, I'm really paying attention. I'm gonna give you guys some insight that I just want to give you guys some insight. So when I'm doing comedy, here's what's really going on. I am presenting joke number one, but at the same time, I'm doing the math on what I think joke number two should be based off how you're currently responding to joke number one. Once I have joke number two locked, I'll move on to joke number three and start doing the math on what I think joke number three should be based off how you're currently responding to number one, and probably will respond to joke number two. I actually used to go 7 jokes deep. Even though I'm presenting this joke, I'm 7 jokes ahead. Then I met Jesus, right? And he wanted to talk. So I can't really go 7 jokes ahead because because on stage, I literally am asking this question, what can I give to this audience? Literally. In between the jokes, I'm asking, what can I give to this audience? Right in between the gaps. Now here's the thing. I'll pause for a second. Everyone watching right now, you have some gaps. No matter what you do, you're a housewife, you're an attorney, there's gaps. My question to you is, what are you asking in between the gaps? Are you asking what can you get, or are you asking what can you give? Because if you don't articulate which one you're asking, by default, you're actually saying, what can I get every single time, ever since the fruit. So you have to articulate the answer to that. So I'm doing a show in Phoenix, Arizona, right? And it's probably 3,500 people at the show. I'm sitting in the back with a friend of mine before the show starts. And we're talking about this photograph that we saw online. And this is probably about 11 years ago. We're talking about this photograph. I'm like, cool, it's time for the show. I go out, there's 3,500 people here. We're having a great time. we're probably 25 minutes into the show, and I'm listening in between the gaps. And I felt like God said to me, hey, show him the picture. I'm like, I don't know what I'm not showing him that picture. That picture was not funny at all. I am here to do jokes. You gotta understand, on a scale of 1 to 10, we're probably laughing at a 7.5. That is a pretty strong show. I'm excited, cool, moving on to the next joke, and I feel it again. I feel like God said, show him the picture. So in the middle of my comedy set, I show him this picture. So that is a picture of a vulture and a little girl. And what's going on in this picture is the little girl is actually trying to make it to this food bank that's outside of the photograph. So I'm explaining to my audience in Phoenix, just like I'm explaining to you, what's going on in this picture. The photographer is in the obvious place, and the vulture is in the obvious place as well. So I explained to them that the photographer actually waited 20 minutes because he felt like it'd be a better shot if he could get one when the vulture opened up his wings. After he took the picture, he got on a plane, came back to the States, turned in the picture, and won the Pulitzer Prize. It's like one of the greatest prizes you could ever get. 6 months later, he commits suicide. And I said to that audience, just like I'm saying to you, had he been of the mindset, I believe, to save the little girl, he himself would probably be alive right now. So here's the thing. I cannot tell you what I said to that audience after that, but we went literally, I can't tell you what the segue was, but we went from laughing at a 7.5 to a 0 during the picture to probably a 12. Now, I would have never made that call, but because I was listening in between the gaps, I did something that I wouldn't normally do to give in a way that I didn't think I could give. You have gaps too. There's something more for you to give. To the church, to your community, to your spouse. There's something more that you can give. And it may look different than you think. We went deep. I'm doing a joke. So Pastor Robert Morris is my pastor, right? And I was at this restaurant. They got this, it's called Babe's Chicken, and Dolly got some delicious, it's like amazing. They got these little biscuits, right? They got these biscuits with the honey. It's amazing, like with the 7 Z's, right? But it was out of honey, and I was getting ready to leave, so the dude had to go to the back to get the honey, right? And then Pastor Robert walks in. I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, Michael, hey, what you doing here? I wasn't thinking. I was like, oh, man, I'm just waiting on a couple honeys, you know? I'm doing, I just wasn't paying attention for some reason, man. When my teachers in school, they used to try to tell me I had ADHD. I ain't paying no attention. So whatever. I know this stuff, right? You ever watch TV, you see a commercial? You ever see this commercial? It's the old lady, she's all wounded. I mean, she's not wounded, she just fell down. She might be wounded. We don't see the rest of the commercial. Anyway, let me stop. Anyway. All right, so it's the commercial, but the old lady, she fall down, right? She's like, help, I'm falling and I can't get up. First thing I'm thinking, why don't the cameraman help her? He right there. He is right there. That's what's wrong with this world, man. I get random thoughts like, did God give chickens wings just for us? They don't even use them. They're just working them out all day long. They just working them out. They're just working them out. Oh, check it. So remember the Starbucks story, right? Starbucks, just drive out. It's really about obedience versus. So I'm gonna ask you a question. This is for everybody. I want you to answer this question in your head. Don't answer it out loud, because this is about giving. So just answer this in your head. Let's say you're walking down the street and you have 2 bottles of water and you're not thirsty. And you see a homeless guy who's thirsty. What should you do? I would submit to you that you don't give him the water. But instead, you quickly ask God, hey, God, what do you want me to do? Because for all you know, behind you is a lady with 1 bottle of water and a stingy heart. And God's been working on her. And this is her opportunity to give the guy the water. In the first scenario, you play God. In the second scenario, you play for God. I'd rather play for God. Obedience is better than sacrifice. If you get a hold of that when you read through the Bible, things like tithing and all of the times it says give, it isn't an issue any longer. You just get it because you're just being obedient. And watch what happens on the other side of that. Whoa. Like even with comedy, I find funny everywhere. Listen, I don't drink 2% milk because I don't know what the rest of it is made out of. That just popped in my head one day. I was like, oh, snap, that's awesome. Let me write that down. It's a math joke. There's like 97% unaccounted for. You guys are awesome. Some people don't get that joke, and I explained to them. If I had a nickel for every time somebody tried to tell me my math was wrong, I'd have $2.83. If you didn't get that last joke, your math is wrong too. I had a Yo Mama joke pop in my head, right? I don't even write Yo Mama jokes, but Yo Mama joke just showed up. And the reason I'm gonna do this Yo Mama joke right now is because there's a learning opportunity on the back end of this Yo Mama joke. If you don't know what a Yo Mama joke is, you probably gonna take this personal. All right, here it is. All right, your mama's so fat, they couldn't even lift her up in prayer. Okay. That's the response I was expecting. All right, let me explain to you guys what just happened right now. Okay, if you notice, some of you guys laughed, which is the right response. But some of y'all went, whoa. Let me explain to you where you went wrong. When you hear your mama joke, you're under the impression that somebody's talking about your mama. It's not your mama, it's a random mama that nobody knows. Nobody's ever met her before. It's a random mama. She probably don't even got kids. It's a random mama. But instead of you enjoying the joke, you sitting there going, no, stop it. She's trying to lose weight. Stop it. It is not your mother. This next joke is one of my favorites because it's a time release joke. Different people will get this joke at different times. Some of you immediately, some of you, it's gonna take like 16 seconds. Some of y'all, not today. And that's okay, that's just where you are currently, that's okay. So I'm gonna do the joke, and once I do the joke, I want you to pay attention to the people around you and notice how they're getting jokes at different times and the pockets of laughter throughout the room, wherever you are. And if you're watching on a computer and you don't laugh, well, just wait a little bit. So here's the joke. So I'm thinking about opening up some restaurants in the north. Probably gonna call it African American Barrel. So I'm thinking about calling it. Oh, okay, just now. Okay. Couple people faking it. Whew, that's funny right there. That's funny. That's funny. I do public service announcements sometimes. I just heard somebody say, that's funny. Let me see if I got this right. Instead of actually laughing, you just gonna announce your reaction? That's how you wanna do it? That's like driving down the street, you get cut off in traffic, like, the horn. Well, I got another one. You get a speck of dust in your eye, you just stand there and say, blink, 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 blink. Blink, 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 blink. You gotta do something, you can't just. That is very similar to somebody saying, ooh, I should give of myself and then never do anything. That wasn't even supposed to tie together, it just happened right now. I should do something. Shoot, let me get this remote. Really? There's opportunities. So, I also want to do a public service announcement real quick. If you're a grown man and you have to point your toes and put your jeans on, you're making bad choices. I just want to throw that out there. I just like to say that sometimes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're making bad choices. Just a little help for you guys. So I got this cool story I want to tell you guys. So I'm the type of person who loves to give. Like I love giving. But again, I try to give when I should give, never out of compulsion. I ain't talking about the tithe. Like that's not even my money. Like that's literally, you're not even giving if you don't do the tithe. If you don't tithe, anything else, you're not even giving. You just spending somebody else's money. Hey Lord, thanks. I know this, I know, but I'm gonna get this. It's a good person though. What? Anyway, all right. So, but I love to give, but I try to give when I should give, never out of compulsion. So, like you ever see them commercials of the wounded dogs? Please send this dog $20. I ain't giving that dog no money. He got a job, he an actor, I see him on TV. So I try to give when I should. So this is what this looks like for me. We met this family. I think we have a picture of the family. So yes, beautiful family, right? Look at the little boy between his dad's legs. He is doing too much, right? It's the Richardson family. So let me tell you about the Richardson family. So they have 5 biological kids, and then they adopted 2 teenagers. And at the same time, they were fostering 5 siblings, all under the age of 7. It's a lot of kids. Then someone came along and they wanted to adopt 2 of the 5 siblings, which means they would be split up and probably never see each other again. So the Richardsons, who don't make much money at all, they were fine with stepping up, getting additional jobs, and they adopted those kids, which was really, really, really awesome. Then, through some circumstance, someone came along and they stole one of their vehicles. Now this really big family is down to 1 vehicle, and they sometimes have to make 2 trips to go places. And this is where I found out about it, and I felt like I was supposed to do something. But God didn't tell me to buy them a vehicle. He said, I got something I want you to do. Again, I want to be obedient, I don't just want to sacrifice. So me and my family got together and we prayed and we came up with this idea to do a comedy show fundraiser for the family. But here's the thing, if we just do a regular comedy show fundraiser, that is technically me buying them a vehicle. And I want to be obedient, I don't just want to sacrifice. So we decided to we went to 4 of my events across the country. It took 4 events, and we told people about the Richardsons. And we asked them to buy tickets to a comedy show called the No Show Comedy Show. And people were like, well, when is it? I was like, I don't know. I'm not gonna be there. And people bought tickets. I was blown away. They bought tickets to a show that would never happen. In fact, the back of the ticket said, you were buying tickets to a show that won't happen, and this is not a tax deduction. We didn't promise them anything. We wanted people to give because they felt like they should give. And we asked people not to give out of compulsion, not to feel anxious about giving, but do it because you know you're supposed to. So people are buying tickets, like I'm blown away. And the family now, they have no idea we're doing this because I didn't know if it was gonna work. I didn't want them to get their hopes up, but it's actually working. So I'm praying, and I feel like the vehicle to get for this family is a Nissan NV. I don't know if you've ever seen it before. It's a nice vehicle, could fit the whole family. So what we did, I go to the dealership and we have enough money for a Nissan NV and I'm excited. But then I happened to notice that they also had the Nissan NV, the one that's all plushed out. Well, I'm the type of person, I like to give the same way I want to receive. So I want the Nissan NV. Well, the dealership found out what we were doing and they bought 40 tickets for all the employees. So we got to get the Nissan NV. So we're working on a deal with this family, and I didn't promise my ticket buyers anything. Only thing I said to them, I said, if the family gives us permission, we'll capture their story and we'll share it with you, if they give us permission. So we go over to the family's house. They still have no idea what we're doing. And I tell them we're there to do a fundraiser video for them. Maybe they could raise a little money, pay off some bills. They have no idea. So we're there with the camera crew, and they're telling me about their family and their kids that they adopted. And it's some really hard stories to hear. Like, it's really hard. So I needed a break. I said, hey, let me take a break for a second. We'll finish taping in a minute. And then I remember walking by the refrigerator or near the kitchen, and they had a picture hanging up. And the picture had been there for like 2 years. This is the picture. That is a Nissan NV. They wrote on top of it, God is awesome. This is our car. Reach for your goals. Obedience is better than sacrifice. So This is just one of the stories that we've shared right in the middle of my comedy special, More Than Funny. There's actually 3 stories. This is one of them. But I felt like I should share it with you in case you hadn't seen the film. So now we have this vehicle, and the family doesn't know it. Like, they have no idea we got it. Not only do we have a vehicle for them, we now know we have their dream vehicle. And now all I have to do is figure out a way to deliver it. Well, I do comedy. Delivery is what I do. So we all go to their house. They're all piled in to watch the video. But what we really want to do is watch them watch the video. Because in the midst of this, I'm going to sneak out, go outside, interrupt the video, and it's going to be me in front of their house introducing them to their brand new Nissan NV. Check it. I know you're in there sitting on the couch wondering if this is actually a real live video. Well, it is. And the reason I'm in front of your house right now is because I would love it if you and your whole crew and everybody else would simply just come outside so you could see your brand new Nissan NV.
Serious? That's for real?
Like this door's on the wheel. Check it. What's going on? Like, come on, let's do it. Cool part is your payments are only $400 a month. So no, no, it's completely paid for, 100%. No, it's completely paid for. This isn't a Michael Jr. thing. This is about a family and people y'all never met before heard y'all story. We decided to do a comedy show fundraiser, but there actually wasn't a show. So people all over the country, my fans, different places, got together and bought tickets to a show that don't even exist. So y'all can have this.
I don't know how to repay anybody for doing something for me like that.
And now you're in a position where you just need to receive it.
I receive it. I receive it.
So one of the things that I really, really appreciate about Life Church is the fact that you guys, like, you get it. Like, you guys are fine with going out in the community and doing things, but there's different levels of giving. But you also have to understand receiving. You have to understand, you have to have a balance. Giving is huge. Some people love to give, but then they have a hard time receiving. You have to have a balance. I was doing this event and, okay, I got two stories. I could do this Orlando story, or I could do this Nashville story. I'm gonna let you choose. I only got time for one. Orlando or Nashville. No, it's just, I'm pointing to one person. Calm down, people. Orlando. So I'm in Orlando, and I'm gonna do Nashville. Anyway, I'm in Nashville, and remember, I'm listening in between the gaps, right? And I'm on stage, and please understand, you have gaps. There's some more that you can do. This is an awesome church, but you as an individual, there's more that you can do. But all you have to do is listen in between the gaps. That's what happened with the story you just saw. I'm just listening between the gaps. So we're not in Orlando. We're in Nashville, and I'm on stage, and I'm listening between the gaps. So we're like probably, 40 minutes into the show. 2,200 people, sold out. And I feel like I'm supposed to talk to this lady in the front row. But the lady's deaf. Lord, what am I supposed to do? And there's a sign language lady on stage, right? So in the middle of this, so I stop, and I'm like, hey, can you ask that lady to come up on stage, please? So she comes up. It's a white lady. She's probably 52, 53 years old. She's really shy. She's scared. She don't know what's going on. The audience don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. We all kind of tripping. So she comes up on stage, and I said to the sign language lady, I said, can you ask her, what is her biggest need? And she signs to the lady signs back, and she says, she doesn't have any needs. She's good. I was like, can you ask her again, what is her biggest need? So she signs over, she comes back, and she says, well, her and her husband haven't been able to go out on vacation in over 13 years. And they really need some time away, at least a weekend or something. I was like, okay. Now, normally what you would do, you just collect a bunch of money. Yay, this, that. Nah, I just asked the next question. And giving money is awesome sometimes, especially if you already took care of what you're supposed to take care of. I just asked the next question. I said, why not? She signs back, she comes over, she says, well, they have a special needs child, and they can't afford the nurse who can take care of the child in such a way that they would feel comfortable leaving, like somebody who's certified. I was like, okay. So I turned to my audience. The audience is still frozen solid right now. I turned to the audience and I said, where is the special needs nurse who can deliver their punchline? Who can do what they're supposed to do right now? And the whole room you don't hear nothing, it's still quiet. So I said it again. I said, where is the special needs nurse who can give the way they should give right now? And you hear a voice come from the top balcony, and this lady says, here I am. And this lady comes walking down. And we introduce them, and they live 30 minutes from each other. And the whole room is done. Like we're all done. And we got to experience that together because people understood the importance of giving and receiving. It's amazingly important. You gotta fully grab a hold of this. You have to fully grab a hold of this. It's so important because there's people right next to you right now who need you to give, and they also need you to receive. So get yourself out the way and just do what it is you're supposed to do. Listen to the Father's voice. Obedience is better than sacrifice. I love you. I'm Michael Jr. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
Hey, wasn't that a great message? I told you that Michael Jr. is funny, and he has an amazing gift of just communicating God's word in a way that's so easy for us to understand. And there are two things in that message that really stood out to me, and I just want to kind of unpack this for just a second if we can. He talked about this idea of us being willing to give and us being willing to receive. So let me ask you a question today. Who is there in your life that you know there is something that you can give to them? You know, not necessarily something that's tangible, but maybe it's just your time. Maybe it's just an opportunity to get together and hang out together. Maybe there's a project that you guys can work on together. Maybe it is that tangible gift, something that you can give monetarily to somebody that you know is going to bless and help them. And then the other side of that, which is something that's really hard for me, and maybe it is for some of you, and I would ask you this question: who is it that you have in your life that you need to be willing to receive from? Maybe you need to listen to somebody who needs to share something with you. And I would just encourage you today to lean into those two things. Think about who it is that God has placed in your life that you can give to this week, and think about who it is that God has placed in your life that you can receive from this week. And I promise you, if you'll do both of those two things, you'll be better off for it. The second thing that really stood out to me in Michael Jr.'s talk today is he talked about this idea of obedience being better than sacrifice. So let me ask you this question today as we wrap up. What do you need to obey God with today? What area of your life you just need to turn over to Him, you just need to be obedient to Him, and you just need to get on with what you know God is asking you to do or who He's asking you to be. Because obedience is always better than sacrifice. I hope that you've enjoyed our different message today, and I hope that you've had a great time just listening to Michael Jr. As we get ready to wrap up, let me just remind you of a couple things. There is a spiritual growth challenge for this particular message today that you can download at our website, and I would encourage you to do that, especially if you're engaged in community group life, where you and some of your friends can get together and talk more and unpack a little bit more about what we've heard from Michael Jr. Today. If you're viewing today at one of our watch parties, just a second, that host is going to come and he'll be available to wrap things up for you. And I just want to close us in prayer today, and I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Don't forget, next Sunday, we're going to be back live on campus at Buddy Taylor Middle School. And Trent's going to be kicking off a brand new series in the book of Philippians. So if you want to get ahead a little bit, let me just encourage you to go ahead and read Philippians chapter 1. And we can't wait to see you guys next Sunday at Buddy Taylor Middle School. So let me pray for you today, and we'll wrap up today's service. So God, I come to you today, and I thank you so much for, God, this weekend, for what Independence Day represents in the life of our nation and our community. Lord, help us to never take for granted the freedom and liberty that we have, Lord, to do what we've done over the last hour or so, and that is to worship you, to listen to your word being taught, to open it and read it by ourselves. And God, I pray that you would take what we have experienced today, the music, the lyrics, the prayers, Lord, the testimony, and certainly your word. I pray that you'd take it and use it in our life this week to help us to be more like you. God, we're excited to be able to get back on campus next week. And Lord, I pray that you would, God, remind us of opportunities this week, Lord, to invite our friends and our neighbors and those folks that we haven't seen for a couple of months maybe, Lord, to make a phone call or send a text or shout out on social media and invite somebody to show up next week at Buddy Taylor Middle School so that we can corporately worship you. And God, may you receive all the honor and the glory and the praise in our lives this week as we live out our faith in a way that makes a difference in other people's lives. For it's all these things we pray